Welcome back to the Nintendo Rewind. I'm Cody Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, Josh Taylor, hosting the premier podcast covering all the latest Nintendo news, announcements, and reviews. We're rewinding and recapping last week from Nintendo. But before we get started, Josh, tell me how your week has been, man. How has everything been going? By the way, we see you loud and clear. You didn't show up. It's just like a black screen at first, so everything is good.
Good. I was a little slow. No, everything's going fine so far. We are keeping busy like we always do. With my two jobs, I finally had a little bit of time home this evening, so that was a good plus. Oh yeah, how you doing?
Dude, I am doing wonderfully. I am low energy as I could possibly be. I'm exhausted. I know I said I'm doing wonderfully, and then I lead off with everything that is making me tired, but it's been like a busy week. Between this past weekend, we ended up going and seeing a Hot Wheels monster truck show. I hear a doggo in the background. That's funny. We went and saw a Hot Wheels monster truck show on Saturday, kind of up in your neck of the woods. I'm sorry I didn't come see you. We were in such a rush to get there and get back before my wife had to do some work that evening. And then Sunday was just kind of filled with some resting, but my wife had more photos to do. So like it was me doing dad time and them trying to murder me with just like a ton of just like everything going on in their life. And then yesterday was a Monday. It's the first Monday I've had in quite some time that felt like a Monday, but it felt like a Monday. And then today's just been kind of crazy too. So like I am looking forward to getting some rest. I did, however, and I don't know if you've seen it, but Celeste 64 dropped, which is like this, it's like a reimagining of Celeste for the Nintendo Switch or PC or wherever you played it. But it's done in like this N64 squishy graphics kind of look.
I haven't seen it.
It's a 3D space. It was like for the 6-year anniversary of the game. So like they ended up doing like a full on kind of like remake of the first area of the game. It's just like a celebration. It was like a small project. There were 30 strawberries in it. It took me like 2.5 hours to beat. I beat that. That was really good. It was really good. There were some like good like head scratchers of puzzles, platforming puzzles to do. So like I had a good time with that. But like that's been
on Switch, or is it just on Steam or something?
It's on itch.io, so it's PC. I don't think
Switch.
They have just itch, not
Okay.
Switch. But I don't think they have any plans of like doing a full release or anything like that. So but like I said, it was just like a little side project that they did, but it was cool and I had a good time with it. Music was a little annoying. It was like this love letter to Celeste meets Super Mario Sunshine in some ways. Because you'd hit these cassette tapes and they'd take you to these warped areas. And then after you go into these warped areas, it had like that. I mean, you know, when you go into the special areas where you don't have flood and it's like doop, 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 doop. It was like that. It had that music, but it was Celeste music. It was where you would go to those teleported areas and it was like the Celeste theme song, but redone a cappella. Like, it was cool though. Like I had a good time with it. I recommend it. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It was a good time. But that's been kind of like my past week. Did you get into anything besides work? Did you play any good games?
Hop around like way too much. Like my attention span can make it about 5 minutes sometimes. I'm like, oh wait, I want to play this stuff. I only got too much going on at once. I've been trying to get through Hogwarts Legacy more than anything. For some reason, I randomly started up Donkey Kong Country for my 87th time through it again. Like, I don't know when to stop.
And listen, I go back to that comfort food all the time, too. Like, I'm a Super Mario Bros. 3 guy. It's like, I don't care what version. Most of the time, it's the Game Boy Advance version. So, like, I understand your, like, I'm going back and playing Donkey Kong again. Like, I totally get it.
Well, I played through 2 like a week or 2 ago, whenever it was recently. I was like, that's the best one. Like, I'm just going to play through 2 again just because. And then I was like, I want to go back and play 1. So then when I'm done doing that, I'll probably do 3 again. Just because I can't just do 2 of them, right? So,
Right.
Yeah. I get through the new stuff because I've got so many old things that I'd love going back to.
Just trying to relive that nostalgia. Just trying to relive that. I know you finished up...
What is it?
I know you finished up Portal recently, and we talked about that on an episode a couple episodes ago or something like that.
Yeah.
But so Hogwarts Legacy, Donkey Kong Country, And like that's it for you. Like that's your bread and butter this past week, huh?
Pretty much. There's been other little things sprinkled into there. I can't even remember what all we did. Played Super Mario Party with some friends and my wife and daughter the other night for the first time in a while. I love Mario Party Superstars, but we hadn't gone back to Super in a while. That's really confusing how they named that.
It is.
But
and now I can't even remember which one's
good.
which. Which one is the one that's the remake of 1, 2, and 3?
Superstars.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is one of the greatest ones, but the 5 boards is just, I don't know why they never put more into that.
It's not enough.
They should have added like a whole other 5 or something.
Yeah, it's not enough. I fully expected like DLC to get announced for that game. Like here's another 3 boards coming out. You can buy them all for $9.99 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that never happened. Like it never happened because Nintendo hates us.
Nope. Sorry, it's it.
Oh man, but no, that's I forgot we did do Mario Kart night on Friday here on this channel. I totally forgot about that, and that was a good time. Thank you to everybody who came out. Shout out to Mr. Jinja. If you're back and watching, you're probably not. You came in to destroy us in Mario Kart, but it was really, really, really good. Like it was good.
It was. I got a good second. Dude, second probably out of the group.
You absolutely, and I got my teeth kicked in like I thought I would. I fully expected that to happen, but like it was a good time. Last week was good. It was just busy. Your wife in the chat right now, life's super busy right now, so didn't even consider monster trucks. Decided to take your daughter to the Sunday show and it was sold out. Oh no. I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry. We bought those tickets like months in advance when we bought them. So like it was a Christmas gift and then they had to wait 2 months to be able to go and do anything with it. But it was a good time. I recommend it if they come back to town. You guys should go. You should absolutely go. But that being said, that's my week. That's your week. You want to break down the MyNintendo news, my dude?
Sure. We will start with the wallpapers, of course. So they actually put a surprising amount of these out. Yeah, the one right now is the February calendar for Pikmin 4. It is 0 platinum points, which I think are cool. I like the calendar ones, and Pikmin's awesome. So there you go. No new sweepstakes this week. No physical rewards this week. I feel like there's not really going to be any for a little bit. Unless Mario and maybe Mario Donkey Kong will give us something. Will they finally let us get a mini Mario? You know what I'm talking about?
Dude, yes.
Like,
the toy
it hasn't
bots.
been a pre-order bonus. They haven't sold them. Like one place was selling like a plushie one for some reason. I was like, what? Just sell the stupid toy.
Right.
It'd
be great.
We'll see. Now, to move along there is Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Wave 3 icons available until February the 8th, which is Thursday. So those are up, and I think they were up once before, so these are sort of like ones that had popped up a few months ago, but I realized I didn't have very many of them to begin with. The game trials, there are none, but there is a Mario vs. Donkey Kong demo that is available now. Came out, I think like last week or something like that.
Have you checked it out? By the way, have you done the demo?
I have. I played through the whole thing, which sounds like a big deal, but it takes like no time to get through it. It's a little bit too short. And I played through the Game Boy Advance one, so I kind of knew what to expect. But it looks really good. It feels really good to play on here on the Switch. Of course, I'm happy they added co-op. That's actually how I played through the whole like 3 or 4 levels or whatever was on there with my daughter, and that they actually changed things up a little bit on there. I believe they like added a second key for the doors that need a key to them. I think there's some other little differences, but yeah. So that I think that'll add a decent bit of replay to it. I'm pretty happy for that one. I hope it feels worth the price of admission because I know it's not like the longest game in the world, but yeah, I think it feels pretty good.
Well, from what I understand, there's like 130 something levels, isn't there, that they're doing in this one, which isn't that like 30 more than what they had originally or something like that? I cannot quite remember because it's been so long.
2 more worlds, maybe something like that.
Okay, so it's not quite 30. They're probably closer to 12 then, because like from this demo trailer, it does look like there's like 6 levels per world, right? So like it looks really, really good. Does it like, because I haven't had the chance to try it out. I meant to before we got on and did the show today, but like, Does it control kind of more similarly to how it controlled originally in the GBA style, or is it like a little more snappy, just with the hardware that it's on?
I don't know if it was just a visual thing, but in my head, it kind of felt like somewhere in between. Like, you know how the original GBA one, you're kind of, I don't know if stiff's really the word for it, but it's
Yep.
definitely different from like Super Mario World or something like that.
Right.
And it's still got its own feel to it, so it doesn't feel like Wonder. You know, it's not supposed to. But I do feel like they've upped it in some ways. I haven't played it long enough maybe to really pinpoint it just right, but it does feel a little bit better than it used to.
From like an aesthetic standpoint, it kind of looks like it really reminds me of like the Super Mario 3D World levels that you could get on Mario Maker from like an aesthetic standpoint, but it does look like super stiff with its movement. And I think that's kind of a hallmark of the arcade style like Donkey Kong games just in general. I remember playing like Donkey Kong 94. It's not what you think it is. It was the game that came out in 1994 for the Game Boy, which was like a remake of the arcade game, and that one was like a little stiff where, you know, Mario doesn't necessarily get the acceleration that he normally gets, or he doesn't he doesn't jump as high as he would normally jump. It's very much puzzle platforming and not just platforming. So like, it looks good. I want to try it out. You said you did co-op?
Yes, we did.
Very cool. Very cool. And the co-op was good. Like, it felt balanced. Like, it didn't feel like it accelerated everything in a level too much, or do you feel like they've changed enough about those levels to where like it adds that challenge and justifies the co-op?
From the like super short demo, from what I can tell, like I said, they added little things like the up on the screen. I think right now is one of the locked doors where you have to get the key, you know, to get over, and then you have to get over to the door as part of the challenge. From co-op, they actually added like a second key, and there were 2 locks on it. So there's little things like that add a little bit more to it. None of it was particularly difficult, but again, where the demo was kind of so short and it was like really early stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a fair like review of it, so to speak, but yeah, I think they added a little bit to it to buff that out. Otherwise, I think it would almost be too easy. Or you could have one person, you know, run over here and one person stay over here. I don't really feel like it was letting us get away with that, which is a good thing, I think.
Absolutely. Go check it out, guys. It's available on the eShop. You can try the demo out. It is out in like 2 weeks, so you got time to try it out before you decide to buy it. I know even without trying the demo, I'm picking this up, but I'm a GBA fiend just in general. Like, it is like my go-to system. So.
All right. So after that, though, for the events coming up, we do have a Splatfest on February the 16th through the 18th that weekend. This one is what is the best day of the weekend, which is, of course, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Do you know what you're picking yet? Because we're a little torn.
I kind of feel you. Like, I don't think Friday is the best day of the weekend, even though it's the start of the weekend. And there's a part of me that's like, Sunday always goes into Monday, and it gives me the Sunday blues.
Right.
Like, I don't.
Otherwise, I'd pick Sunday.
Right.
But yeah.
But Sunday's like our most relaxed day of the week in some ways. Like, Saturday's always busy with what my wife's business is. Like, it's kind of nice to finally like get a breather. So I think at the end of the day, this may be the very first time that I go with Big Man as a team, because you know he's gonna be Sunday. Like, that's the colors that they have there. They've got yellow for Fry, blue for Shiver, and then orange for Big Man. It's maybe like the first time I've teamed up with Big Man the entire time Splatoon 3's been out. So I think I'm going Sunday.
I don't care like which character picked what, even though Big Man's like obviously the best one out of the 3 of them. But yeah, I might end up going with that one too. I'm not sure yet. But also I've also lost, what has there been, 12 or 13 Splatfest for Splatoon 3, and I have been on the losing team every one of them so far. So
that's because we didn't pick Big Man. We went with our hearts, but like, we just should pick Big Man. Oh man. But no, I'm with you. And when does that start again?
That is February the 16th through the 18th. That
16th
weekend.
through the 18th. So not this upcoming weekend, next weekend. Yeah. Very cool. I'm excited. Of course. I don't know if we're going to stream it or not, but I do intend on playing it for sure.
Oh yeah. Gotta at least touch it for a little bit, but of course I feel like they've been announcing these a little more often. I don't know if it has anything to do with there being another game that kind of resembles Pokemon in some small ways, but Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has a Catch in Empoleon with the Mightiest Mask, February the 8th through the 11th. So I believe that would be Thursday. That will start. And then in Smash Brothers, somewhat related, they actually just announced this, I don't know, maybe an hour or two ago. We will get our next bunch of spirits. So this one's for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is February the 9th, which makes plenty of sense to me. Big game on the Switch. Came out after Smash, so that one makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. This only came from like Smash Bros. Japan too. Like I really wish like there was more heads up on that stuff for us American people who are playing Smash. Yeah. But you know, hey, like Twitter's a thing. It's got a translate option on there, so I refuse to call it X. Like it's Twitter. But like that being said, I mean you can go check out their Smash Bros. JP account. The actual tweet says discover new Pokemon from the Paldea region and Zero's treasure, and it will be held for 5 days oh my gosh, I can't get my words out, from February 9th, Friday, which for us most likely would mean that it starts Thursday, because most of the time with those like Japan events, you get access a day early. New spirits from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Zero's treasure, which is not Zero's treasure. I think that got translated poorly. The treasure of Area Zero will appear on the spirit board. If you win a battle, you can get additional snacks. So that's from the official translated page for Smash Bros. JP.
There you go. I do wish those were like I'm excited that they're adding more stuff into Smash, even though we're probably not getting more characters. So I like that, and like almost like to preserve some of that, like the newer games that came out after it. But I do kind of wish maybe there was a little more to it. They kind of build it up, and then it's like, all right, I go in, and 3 minutes later, I have like all the spirits they added, and we're done.
Yep. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man.
And then they wait a month and a half and do the next bunch. But whatever. I mean, it's something.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean that is basically our big news this week so far.
Dude, I will say there is one other thing I'd like to add to that. Like, Smash Bros. And this is more of a question for you more than anything. And I mean, chat, you guys feel free to pop in and let us know how you feel, and commenters over on YouTube. But like, first off, let me ask you this. What is the most perfect Smash Bros. To you? Like, out of all the releases, what's the perfect one in your opinion?
Gosh, I'm torn because Ultimate's kind of obvious, especially for just like the baseline game. Like if you're going into, I would say the biggest part of Smash Brothers is going in and playing with friends. And obviously it has the most characters. It has the most stages, all of that sort of thing. It just has more. So that's all great. Outside of that, though, one thing that Brawl really had that they kind of refused to bring back in the same way is that Subspace Emissary. However you're supposed to say it. That's how I've always said it. But that story mode is always really good. And you actually get to see these characters interact with each other, you know, on the screen, almost like it's a cartoon. So that was really cool. And then they never did it again.
Right.
But because of stuff like that, because that's the kind of stuff I want to see. It's like, you know, seeing the Avengers all together in a movie and stuff like that.
It was very cool.
Yeah, and then even Ultimate, it was like, oh, wait, we might get it back. But then they just, I didn't even understand that story.
And they did World of Light, but there wasn't enough like cutscenes to justify the existence of that like 30-hour plus campaign mode that they put in there. Like,
yeah, it was like, oh, here's everybody's dead now, everybody's back. But then if you fight this boss instead of that one, everybody's dead again. It's like,
yep,
I don't know, I didn't quite get that one.
No, I'm with you.
No, I mean, outside of that sort of stuff, though, as the game from like the core of it, so to speak, it would have to just be Ultimate. I know that's kind of the boring answer, but yeah. I
mean, that's kind of where I am too, is like Smash Bros. Ultimate is like my go-to like Smash Bros. Game now. Like I loved Melee back in the day, and I didn't care for Brawl as a regular like go-to play Smash game. I liked the level builder that they had done at the time because that was new to the game, and I loved Subspace Emissary, the single player campaign side of it. Like I didn't have a Wii at the time, but a hallmate of mine, because I was in college when that was going on, he went and bought Smash the night it released. He and I co-opted that campaign together, just kind of taking turns as we were going through it, and beat it all in one night, the night that it released. It was so good. It was like a big rush all the way through it. But like, Ultimate is kind of like the go-to, but Melee, for what it was at the time, was originally my go-to. But that kind of leads me into my second question for you, which is like, for the next Smash Bros, what do you want out of it? Like, I kind of just want, and I'll tell you what I want. I want it to be almost like just a re-release that's harnessing the power of whatever system it's on, and then continue to give me updated roster. Just give me everything
More,
that already was
basically.
there and continue to give me more on top of what I have. Yeah. And that's what ideally I would like to see out of Smash going forward, is that almost NBA 2K style of, well, I have all these characters and I can pay to get all of these new characters as well. You know, like, that's just what I want at this point. Don't change anything. Give me stages, give me characters. I'm good.
I feel like this is almost a longer discussion in itself, but I mean, I'm kind of cool with that because there's still plenty of characters I'd like to see.
Mm-hmm.
I wish maybe I don't know exactly who makes all these decisions. If it's just Sakurai or what the deal is, but you know, we've got 80 some characters, and there's some big names in there, especially Banjo. You know, that one's the most important. But no, there's some big characters, especially from like the Western side, that I kind of feel like always get overlooked. And I'm like, I understand the game's made in Japan, but like you're missing people like Crash Bandicoot and Rayman, you know, and they're like really big names in this. So I don't know. I wish that stuff would get handled a little bit better maybe in the future. And they lean into the fact that you have all these characters that could interact in some way, you know, be it in a story mode again or something. But really, other than that, I don't know what else you can really ask for, because for what it is as a base game, it's,
Oh yeah,
I don't really know what else they could do with it.
absolutely.
Yeah, I do want to read something out in the comments there that Gumbasa, I think
Gambessa, Emperor Gambessa.
I knew I was saying it wrong. Anyway, they mentioned liking Smash Run on the 3DS. I do want to shout out that one because I really like that mode. That was one I replayed a ton. He mentioned City Trial and Kirby's Air Ride is what it reminded them of. And that was a great mode. Like, I do wish they would bring back a little more stuff like that, because that was just, I feel like you could keep going back to it, and it was always different every time. Meanwhile, on the Wii U, they kind of had, what was it? It was like a game board kind of mode. I can't remember
at that point. It was like a board game. It was like all
my wife
Super
and my
Mario
friend
Party.
Zach would disagree, but that mode was bad.
Oh my gosh.
Smash Run's good there. But no, just add more goofy stuff like that, you know, give you more to do. I don't really know if they need to go in and like change the base of it all that much.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's almost like the same story with Mario Kart. It's like, where do you go from here?
Right? No, I'm with you. Like, I ended up, and this is the last I'll say on the Smash stuff. I was just curious about what your take was on it, but I bought Smash for the 3DS, but then I saw what happened to everybody's Circle Pad. And I was like, I'm not playing this on my 3DS. It will destroy it. Like, I didn't put a whole lot of time into it. I did go in and I checked out all of the exclusive like stages, which I think is a very cool, like, you could have it on the Wii U and you get this, and you have it on the 3DS and you get this, but like that was pretty much all I ever really did on it was check those out. But I was so afraid of like ruining it. And now I have FOMO where I feel like I've missed out on experiencing Smash Runs.
Got all the trophies on it.
Oh man.
I like that one.
Well, with that being said, that does bring us to our main topic. And the main topic tonight is none other than Nintendo Direct predictions. So we're going to go over there. And we're going to discuss our Nintendo Direct predictions. Let me get things zoomed in appropriately here for you guys. Just to let you guys know, there's not a Nintendo Direct officially announced in any way. But Nintendo has such a good track record of doing a Nintendo Direct in February, and at the very latest, the beginning of March, that there's no way we are not getting a Nintendo Direct this month or next. So with that being said, we thought, what better time than to come on here and kind of discuss what A, our hopes and dreams are for this Nintendo Direct, but B, what we definitely think is going to be hitting the airwaves with Mr. Takashi going, let's get on to this, you know? So like, I am very excited for something in particular, and there's a couple of things that I am very hopeful for that I really want to see, but in traditional fashion, typically on my channel, we're gonna make a Nintendo Direct bingo board with chat with each other and kind of talk it out and talk about what we expect to see, what we want to see, and what we know we're going to be seeing. Yeah. So, with that being said, I think I'll step in and I'm going to put out our first prediction. I think we see Princess Peach Showtime. It's out in March. Even if the Direct is at the latest the beginning of March, we're going to be seeing some more from Princess Peach Showtime. At the very minimum, a sizzle reel to get people kind of hyped for that again. But I think I'm going to put my staff in the sand, my flag in the sand, draw my line. I'm going to say it's going to be a little bit more than a sizzle reel. I think we'll probably get a little bit of a deeper breakdown of all the mechanics of what that game actually is, because still yet to this day, I don't know what this game is about. Not really. So I think we're going to see some Princess Peach Showtime action. Agree or disagree, Joshua?
Yeah, I definitely agree. If anything, it might actually be one of those they spend a little bit more time on. I don't know how many mechanics are to explain, but I don't know. I could see them even spending 5 minutes on Mario Wonder if they needed to. So, yeah, I could see this being there for sure.
We might get like an actual like story trailer, because that's something we don't have. Yeah. We've had like the reveal and we've had the like transformation trailer, and that's like pretty much it. So, where do you want to put this though, Josh? Because you agree with me. I'm kind of leaning toward, because we want to try to bingo here. Like, our goal is to bingo. When this actually happens, we want to try to bingo. I'm kind of leaning toward just like right above the free spot here. Are you cool with that?
I was going to either say that or one to like the left.
One to the left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask why.
One to the left. Okay, so we're going diagonally, as my son would say, diagonally. So Princess Peach Showtime. I'm going to have to really shrink down that text. Let's take this down to like a 14. Let's take it down to a 14 here. Come on. Maybe not a 14. We could do 24. There we go. All right. So what's your prediction, sir?
My first one? Well, I will say another kind of obvious one, but it depends on when this is. If it's within like the next week, we're definitely going to see Mario versus Donkey Kong in some small way.
I would agree with that. What day is that one out?
Showing off like anywhere. Is it like February the 25th or something like that? I don't have it pulled up in front of me.
Hang on one second. I'll tell you. I'll pull it up while you're talking. Justify your reason.
Well, obviously, it's kind of like with the same reasoning with Peach. Is if it's within a week or more before that game comes out, they're obviously going to want to show it off a little bit more. Even like, I don't know what the day of is, but sometime around then.
Officially, the 16th. So a week and a half.
Okay. It's sooner than I thought, but I could definitely see them showing that off. If nothing else, as much as we might not want them to give it away, I could see them showing off like one of the extra new worlds or something. So I could almost guarantee that one's going to show up.
I would agree with you.
Unless the Direct's like in March or something.
To bolster sales, though, even in March, I think I could see it. So, like, even in March.
In some form, yeah.
It's like, oh, by the way, we released this like a couple of weeks ago. You should go check it out.
Yeah.
So, I'm with you. I kind of don't want to put it in the same column or row or diagonal as Princess Peach Showtime, because I am unsure, depending on timing, because, like, if it's next week, cool. I think it's almost a guarantee to be there. But if it's later, there's a possibility it might miss it. And so I'm leaning more toward the direct right of free. But I'm
getting ready to say that.
I
say we go with that.
Yes. Like, I'm with you that I think it's coming and that I think they'll be doing something with it. But I don't know for sure whether or not we can say, yeah, like that's a for sure happening kind of thing because of the timing of the Direct. Okay, so I'm going to give you my next prediction. Okay. I think, personally, for almost the same reason that you brought up Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and I've got a little more runway on this, because Mario vs. Donkey Kong is out the 16th. This is out on the 22nd. It's Splatoon, the DLC that's coming.
And I forgot about that. And I've got pre-order.
Oh my gosh! And what is that? World of Order is what that's called. World of Order. Let me see.
Sure.
Or no, wait, Side Order, not World of Order. So I think they'll cover that a little bit more in depth. They did their teaser reveal of it back when they announced it, and that was a very long trailer for it back then. The latest announcement trailer that they did for the date, I think, was very ominous, but also not very in depth. So if we get anything out of this, I'd say most likely some gameplay of it, some actual like gameplay and how the mechanics work in it, because I'm still unsure what the swatches exactly do. I mean, they talk about it gives you abilities, but I'd like a more like direct breakdown of what those abilities are. So I'm going to say Splatoon 3 DLC, and I would almost argue that one's probably more guaranteed than even the Donkey Kong teaser. So I'm more comfortable with putting that in either the row or column or diagonal that Princess Peach Showtime is. And we're kind of like hedging our bets here. We're putting the stuff that we think will definitely be in there around the center, and then using the edges as kind of our wish lists. But do you have like an opinion? Do you want me to put it not in either column?
I say put it to the bottom left of free.
Okay. I'm down with that. Splatoon 3 side order. Okay. So Splatoon 3 side order to the bottom left of 3. Let me see here. We can make this bigger. There we go. Splatoon 3 side order. Okay. Mrs. Nerdwire in the live chat, by the way, says second Mario movie. And by the way, chat, again, feel free to contribute what your opinions are of what we might see. But I can probably say with full confidence that we aren't going to be seeing second Mario movie trailer. As much as I would like it. That'd be hilarious. What's your next prediction, my good sir?
I'm going to get to one a little more interesting, maybe, before I get into any of the more obvious ones.
Okay.
I think it is about time for maybe not a sports game, though I do wish we'd get baseball. But with Mario Party Superstars coming out a couple years ago now, I think it's about time we get a sort of a new Mario Party. Kind of feel like they went out of their way to bring back some of the old stuff. Now it's time for something new. So I think we'll see something from Mario Party.
How often do they release a Mario Party? What is the release schedule for Mario Party? Let me do a Google for it. Because I think I'm with you. Mario Party games.
It was like almost every year for a while, and then they slowed down, and then now we've kind of gotten to this. I just feel like with what was put into Superstars and without DLC,
interesting,
that there's maybe something else coming up.
Okay, so here's the release schedule starting with the first one, and it's in this order respectively. 98, 99, 2000, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. There were 2 of them in 2005. There was a portable one and a console one.
Yep.
2007 and another portable one in 2007. 2012, so there was a 5-year gap. 2013, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and then a 3-year gap with Superstars in 2021. So I think you're right, because it's 2024. Their largest gap is 5 years. Their most recent gap was 3, and it's been 3 years since we've seen Superstars come out. I'm with you. Like, I think that's a fair thing to have on the wish list. Now, do you feel very confident in this, or do you feel like this is a wish list one?
More confident than wish list. I mean, I'd want it. I'm cool with that. I like Mario Party.
So I think that leads us to a couple of spaces then on the board. We can either put it in the row with Princess Peach Showtime or Splatoon 3 side order, or in the diagonal with Princess Peach Showtime and Splatoon 3 side order. If you're that confident.
Yeah, I kind of realized where I've put things.
Because if we put it middle in the center, on the left, it is Princess Peach, Showtime, Mario Party, Splatoon 3 side order. They're just kind of in a row. So do you want to hedge it just a little bit? And I mean, we can even put it on its own. But if you're very confident,
put it under Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Okay, so we're putting it in the very confident category.
Pretty confident.
Mario Party. We're putting it in the very confident category.
Out there.
Do what?
It can help out any of the other entries that way in some way, shape, or form.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. I'm
in comparison to other stuff I'm wishing for, I'm gonna put it there.
So if we're gonna put things that we're pretty confident in, and things that we think will happen, but nothing that's been confirmed. Here's where I land on the next thing, and I think it's the thing we're all wishing for, but we're slowly filling up our circle here. And I think we need to put this on here, and I'm fairly confident that it should be on here. And it is the Switch successor. I think it should be on here, and I think it should be in the center area where we've got all the other things that we're very confident in. I'm very confident that Switch 2 will be talked about in some regard. The only thing holding me back from it, and the reason that it still stays on wish list, is because Nintendo directly stated during their fiscal earnings is that their focus is still going to be on the Nintendo Switch. But they also said that with the 3DS when the Nintendo Switch came out, and they killed it within a year. Yeah. So here's where I land on it. I think I'm very confident, but I think I am willing to put it in the top right corner of the center area, right above Mario versus Donkey Kong. That's essentially how confident I am in it, because at least if Mario Party doesn't get announced and that's on your wish list, and Switch 2 doesn't get announced and that's on everyone's wish list, that only knocks out that column and that row of being screwed. Rather than doing like a triple threat of doing... no, wait, that would still be a triple threat. Hold on. Let's do it above free, directly above free. That's where I kind of want it. How do you feel?
I'm a little unsure if it would pop up here. I feel like they're going to want to really focus on what's left for the Switch itself, and that would kind of overshadow everything. I could see them doing it somewhat like how they did the Switch and having its own separate thing. Like, I don't even know if they'll talk about it. Like, in a few weeks, maybe. There's a chance, come spring, that they'll be like, a tweet will go out and say, hey, this Thursday, we're going to show off our next console or whatever, and it's going to get its own little trailer, kind of like the Switch did. I don't know if I see them just dropping it in one of these directs.
So do you want me to move it to the outskirts? Is that what we're thinking? Is to the outskirts?
I mean, it's your entry. Why don't you?
Well, listen, I'm a man of the people. I'm here to please everybody. And welcome into the chat, Pugs. 1007 into the live chat. We will be addressing a couple of the things there here in a moment. I'll move it to the outskirts. Okay, I'll move it to the outskirts because I understand. I understand your logic. I don't know if I want to move it. We could move it into a corner. No. Can I move it into a corner?
I mean, you can if you want. Put it wherever you want it.
Switch 2. We're moving it into a corner, baby. That's where it is going. Switch 2. Right in the upper right corner. So the only thing that could be bad for that is Splatoon 3 side order. So we've got free, we've got Splatoon 3 side order, and we've got Switch 2 in that diagonal. That does kill off one row and one column if we don't get it. So that being said, I am pretty confident that we're going to see it. Just as confident as I am that Splatoon 3 side order is coming. So in the direct. In the live chat here, we have Emperor Gombessa. Nintendo announces a new remake. How do you feel about that? Josh?
Gosh, I mean, I want to say we've got all these remakes already. We got Prime last year. We've got Thousand Year Door. We had Mario RPG last year. Mario versus Donkey Kong. I was gonna say I'm forgetting one. So there's a lot of remakes. But I don't know if that means they're not gonna do another one. I feel like there's two easy series. I feel like that could pop up there.
Mhm.
Would be like Metroid Prime 2,
Yes.
or Zelda, because there's so many Zelda games they could just sort of throw in there, even if it's just Wind Waker or Twilight Princess again.
Which are the only two we're missing from the console as far as console games, as far as the 3D console games.
Yeah, and I feel like that's sort of a safe one where they don't necessarily have to save it for the next console.
No.
You know?
I agree with Gambessa though.
Luigi's Mansion 2. Sorry, forgot that one's coming too.
So we've got Luigi's Mansion 2, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Both of those remakes are still coming. Both of those with TBAs, right? There's no like official dates for those yet.
I think so.
So we do expect those, but I'm kind of with Gambessa because of Metroid Prime 4, which not to give too much foreshadowing, but I think Metroid Prime 4 deserves a spot on here at this point. Retro Studios has already posted a whole bunch of like job postings, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But I think a remake and bringing Metroid Prime 2, or maybe even remaster, and I think we could phrase it that way, remake / remaster, that's almost a guaranteed in a lot of ways. There are too many things that are out there that are worth being put on there, and I'm not confident enough to name the game, but I am confident enough to put it on the list here.
Okay.
Where would you like it?
I can see that.
Remake,
I think
remaster.
if you're just putting like a remaster, that's, I don't want to say guaranteed, but that's pretty likely. I'd almost even put it right above Mario versus Donkey Kong. Not to fill in the middle too much, but
I think it's totally fine though to put that there. So we still have 3 spaces left over. So we're gonna type remake / remaster to kind of hedge our bets. With that being so like full in that center area, we're gonna do that. So I'm fine with stating that remake / remaster. Okay, so and then also in the live chat, Mrs. Nerdwire says Mario Bowling.
I'd be cool with that. I doubt it, but I'd be alright with that.
Wii Bowling was the gold standard, and they liked it so much they brought it to Switch Sports when that came out. I don't know if that's gonna happen. But let's take this a little more seriously. Do you think there's a world where we see another Mario sports title get announced anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, I brought up Mario Party in particular, but almost would have picked a sports one if I didn't feel like they've already picked a lot of the easy ones. I mean, there's still baseball that they have done before, and they
Super
for some
Sluggers
reason
was
won't
where I
bring
was
back.
thinking.
That's my favorite sport. Especially the characters they add into those. I just don't want them to do what they've been doing with a lot of these and give you like 5 characters and then slowly drip feed the ones that should have been there to begin with over like a year.
As
and they're
free
not
DLC.
yeah, and there'll be less single player content than there was on like the 64 versions of these games. Yeah, so all that aside though, I think it's totally possible that there is another Mario sports game. I'm just not sure what they're going to do. I feel like baseball takes more effort than what they want to put into these.
Well, there are 2.
Golf wasn't bad.
There are 2 titles that I don't think that they've really touched. As far as well, no, 3. Let me backspace that just a little bit. There are 3 titles that I don't think they've really touched. That would be not. They're all sports and they all have Mario in them. The first one is Mario Super Sluggers, like you mentioned. The second one is a 3DS title that was
The best
Mario Sports, just period. That had like equestrian racing and a whole bunch of other things, and it was all Mario themed, and they had amiibo cards that were available for them on the 3DS back in the day. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. Never played it because I wanted it on a console, not my handheld.
I get it, but then the third thing that I think about when it comes to that is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and this year is an Olympic year.
Oh yeah, it is.
So, like, do we go super vague? Because Mrs. Nerdwire says she was serious about the bowling, but I don't think that's happening. I don't think Mario Bowling will happen. That is a very high wish list game at that point. But do we hedge our bets and say a Mario Sports title? Because we're doing this as a community. We're doing it as a community, and I think it's worth putting onto here somewhere.
To keep it safe, I know that's vague, but sure.
Yeah, I'm just worried that we won't get like an actual sport. I'd love to see Super Sluggers, and there was a time when I thought that was going to be the next one. Like I legit did, and then Mario Golf came out, Mario Tennis came out, and Mario every other Mario came out.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you where I'm comfortable putting it. Right now, I'm very comfortable putting it on the left in the middle, across Mario versus Donkey Kong. You cool?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So
Totally possible.
On the left in the middle.
I feel like it's time for that or a party.
Mario Sports. So it's kind of wait a second. Where did that go? Hang on. Did we put Mario? Yeah, we did. We have a Mario Party on there. Okay. I was like, where is it? Okay. So that leaves it to you now, my good sir. What do you think is next?
So I have several still to add to this that are a little more serious. This one I feel like is goofy, and I don't know if we can even add this properly. So something for me, and you know my likes and what I'm not a big fan of, but multiple JRPGs that everyone but me is hyped for. So that was one of my things I wrote down. I don't know.
At least you didn't write. All we could, we could get away with just putting on a space farm. Like I know we'd have it.
Just put JRPG that Josh has never heard of.
You know what's even worse?
Everyone else has.
One of the last few directs, like we could have literally put it JRPG farm, and we would have had like 15 ticks on that. Like. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna let me put this as a real entry.
Okay.
It just makes it a little bit easier.
Okay.
I don't know if ported's really the word for it. I feel like there's been a lot that have been like Japan exclusive or used to be Japanese exclusive, something from like the NES days, and they remade it and brought it over here. So not sure how to word it properly, but something that was Japanese exclusive in some way finally making its way over here.
Yeah, I could see that. There is a new Mana game on the horizon. It's brand new. I don't know if it's been announced for Nintendo Switch, to be completely honest. But I think if we wanted to like put our flag in the sand and not just be vague like we are with Mario Sports or remake, remaster, if we really wanted to put our flag in the sand, I think we could. Have you played any of the Mana games? Are you familiar with those?
I don't play a whole lot of RPGs, but I did try.
It's a perfect entry then.
What is the one? There's one that's like almost like Zelda. I think it was a Game Boy one.
There's Sword of Mana, Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana.
They called it Final Fantasy Adventure, but it was on a Mana collection.
Interesting.
That one was neat. I tried Secret of Mana a couple times, but always kind of get stuck.
I understand.
I don't know if it wants me to
grind. We should two-player that one sometime. Like I think it'd be a fun stream.
I think I just need some help.
So
I don't know much else about them.
Let's do. We could do that in the vertical center. We don't have anything there. So I think if we really wanted to do it, we could do the bottom vertical center. And I'm willing to put what is the Visions of Mana, I think is what the new one's called. Let me do a Google search real quick. Visions of Mana. Is it that? Okay. So right now it does not have Nintendo Switch listed. It has Q2 or Q3 of 2024 and is an estimate. I think we could see Visions of Mana get announced for Switch here. I'm going to put my name on that. So Visions of Mana, and that would meet your hey, is this going to be a JRPG you've never heard of or never experienced restriction?
That's just usually like half the announcements I feel like in recent years for me.
That's fair. That's fair. Emperor Gombeza actually brings up a really good point, though. They said, I'd love to see a new Mario and Sonic Olympics game, but they feel like they kept getting lazier after the first few, which I agree with 100%. But the B portion of this, Sega made their own Olympics game last time, so Nintendo might be done with the series. I mean, it was kind of Wii shovelware for a really, really, really long time.
I agree, but that last one actually I think was pretty good. I did play the last one, and I feel like they were sort of onto something. Like it actually started feeling pretty good again. For the most part, I do agree. I would like this year's just because it's in Paris, but
that would be really cool. And it's a Summer Olympics, right? Or is it Winter Olympics? It's Summer Olympics this year, right?
Yeah.
So I think they could have a lot of really, really cool stuff going on in that game at that point. Okay, I think it's time for me to put out my my big wish list item here, and this is something that I don't know that we will see. I really don't know that we will see. But it's officially been 7 years since our last 3D Mario adventure. And it's time. It is time. Now, whether that's Odyssey 2 or not, I don't think it'll be Odyssey 2. I really don't. I think it will be something completely different. And they did just put out Wonder. But if they announce a Switch 2, I expect a 3D Super Mario to get announced. That's because they've already done Tears of the Kingdom, right? So Zelda is usually their like double console kind of like sales tactic. Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom still could come to both consoles. A much better, more optimized Tears of the Kingdom for the next system up. But we haven't seen anything out of 3D Mario in a long, long, long time.
I do agree that I think it would only be announced if they show off the next system.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at this point they're holding it. That I don't see them releasing that for the Switch at this point.
No. So to kind of put it in perspective, 3D Marios, as far as what we've had, Super Mario 64. I don't have that pulled up right now, but Super Mario Sunshine was 2002. Super Mario Galaxy was 2007. That was a 5-year gap. Galaxy 2 was 2010. That's a 3-year gap. Then after that, they did nothing for the Wii U that I can remember. The closest approximation would be Super Mario 3D Land, or 3D World rather. And the original release of Super Mario 3D World, I don't have that listed on this either. But Super Mario Odyssey was 2017. I would assume 3D World was probably 2014. So that was like a 4-year gap. 2017 for Super Mario Odyssey was a 3-year gap. It has been, like I said, 7 years since the last 3D Mario. I think we get a 3D Mario. We deserve a 3D Mario. So I'm willing to even put this, because if the Switch 2 doesn't get announced, I'm with you. If the Switch 2 doesn't get announced, I don't know that we'll see a trailer for this, but I'm willing to put this in the bottom right corner or in the midsection.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. So what would you want? I'm going to give you options. Bottom right or in the middle on the right?
Middle on the right.
Okay. Middle on the right. So that does wipe out Mario Sports and Mario vs. Donkey Kong. So 3D Mario game. So I think we've got a high chance of seeing it if they do announce, kind of like what you're saying, if they do announce specifically a Nintendo Switch 2. But that's kind of where I'm landing with it. What's your next item, my good sir?
All right, I got this one. After this, I'm going to get into a couple like maybe more just dream ones. Of course, this would be cool too. I don't know much about it, but I think we may be getting Crash Team Rumble, because we have gotten like every other Crash game that's come out in recent years, from the trilogy to 4, to Crash Team Racing, which is actually really good. But we didn't get Crash Team Rumble. I had to look up the name. I forgot what it was. So yeah, I think that one's a pretty safe bet, and I think we should be getting it this year.
We didn't. I'm actually taking a look at it. So that was released in June last year. I was taking a look at like what the possibilities of that is. I kind of agree with
It's
you.
an online focused game, so I don't care as much about that one.
They'll do their own servers on the back end for that one. I think they won't rely on Nintendo to do that. So, I'm kind of with you. I could see that happening. Where do you want to put that? Because we're getting tight in here, huh?
I would put it above Mario Sports.
Mario Sports? Okay. So remake, remaster, Princess Peach Showtime. If this doesn't happen, if we don't get Crash Team Rumble, then that's going to ruin that row. But I don't care because it's your pick, and I kind of agree with you. I think it is time for that, and I could see it happening. I could absolutely see it happening. Oops, I spelled it Crash Team Rumbler. Crash Team Rumble. I'm with you. We got, do we have any other recommendations in the chat? No extra recommendations in the chat. Okay, I was just making sure. Wishlist item. Okay. But at this point, and I've talked about it earlier, at this point, if it doesn't come this year, it's not coming to the Nintendo Switch, and that is Metroid Prime 4. Right?
Yeah.
So Metroid Prime 4 has been teased for years. They scrapped it. It's been thousands of days since the last time we heard an update from that team. And rumor had it, and we talked about it on a couple episodes ago, but rumor had it that we would be seeing something from Metroid Prime 4 because the gameplay is completed. The only thing we've been waiting on is cutscenes, is what that rumor said. Now, is that true? Who knows? I don't know. But it has to happen. Retro has posted multiple new job listings recently, which, if you don't know, it's at Retro Studios for development right now. I fully believe we see Metroid Prime 4, at least an update. They have to say its name this time. They can't ignore it. It's the elephant in the room. And I don't feel strongly about where I want to put it. I don't feel strongly. But I feel strong enough to probably say in the central area. I feel that strongly.
You got me on that one. I still don't think. I think we'll hear about it this year, but I don't think it's going to happen until the next system at this point, unless they just really send the Switch out with a bang with that. But gosh, this thing's taking so much build up. I don't know.
Where would you feel more comfortable with it then? Do we want to put it in the same area as Switch 2 and 3D Mario? Is this just the wish list row? Or wish list column?
Put it above Peach.
Put it above Peach?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually okay with that. Metroid Prime 4. I'm actually very okay with that because at that point, like, we get Metroid Prime 4, Princess Peach Showtime, and Splatoon 3 side order, like, I'm set. Like, I made that row, like, or that column. I'm 100% about it. Okay, there we go. Just trying to get the font size right. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sections left. Okay, what do you got?
Shoot out some of these. I'll go to one of my wishes. Because I doubt it's going to happen because they hate this series. But no,
F-Zero?
Yeah, they hate that too. No, I'm not even going that far. Like, I'd love for that to come back, but that's just,
oh man,
they really hate that one. No, I'm going to say there's going to be a new Donkey Kong game, even though I know there's not going to be. I just really wish there was.
I mean, there were rumors that the Odyssey team was working on a 3D Donkey Kong platformer.
That would be cool.
There were rumors.
That would be one of my dream ones, is if that team worked on a 3D Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of with you.
I'd be cool with country, to be honest, but I know most people wouldn't be. But yeah, I'm going to say a Donkey Kong game.
With Universal Studios opening a Donkey Kong area, and Donkey Kong being the force that he was in the movie, and there not really being anything new in the Donkey Kong area of games since Tropical Freeze, and that's not even really all that new because that was on the Wii U. I'm with you. I think it is time for something Donkey Kong. And Mario versus Donkey Kong doesn't count. You don't play as Donkey Kong. Right. You play as Mario. And it is clear that they want to maximize on that marketing. So I'm with you. Do you have an idea of where you want it?
Again, I believe this to be a little more of a wish. I mean, it's more realistic than if I would have said F-Zero. But
do you want to put it in the column that you've pretty much made with Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mario Party, and new remake remaster?
Yeah, let's put it there.
Top or bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom? Okay. Right there with Visions of Mana.
Yeah.
Oh, man. New DK. Okay. So we're still doing wish lists, and there are three spaces in the we definitely think this is happening kind of category. But I'm going to stick with my wish list item. And here's what I think. I see Mother 3. I see Nintendo announces that 2025 is the year of Waluigi. 2K12 on Switch. Which 2K12? WWE or NBA? And I also see Zelda DLC. And I don't know if I mentioned Shadow Drop there. But typically we don't see anything from Pokemon Company. Ever.
They're too special. They want to go do their own thing.
They get their Pokemon Presents. But here's where I lean toward we might actually see something from Game Freak as a whole, though. So
Cat AI, you skipped that one.
I did avoid Cat AI. But I think that Game Freak wants to come on and talk about their new project as a hint. They've already posted about it on the internet, on their actual marketing page, about the next game that will supposedly be bigger than Pokemon. If you've missed that, go check some of our previous episodes. Okay. But I kind of hope we see something from... I mean, they've done Little Town Hero in a direct, And that game was unfortunately not good, or didn't succeed anyway. So could we see anything from that?
I guess that one's possible, because I feel like when they always have to do their own little directs, it's always focused on Pokemon. I don't know if they've ever really brought one of their sort of side stuff in there. I never really thought about it that way, but I guess that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where I land with it. Game Freak to make more non-Pokemon games. Project Bloom is what it is codenamed as, but they did that trademark that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So that's what I think they would do. And Gombessa says Pokemon Days February 27th. They will likely make their big announcements then. I agree with you 100%. They will likely... I could see them talking about Project Bloom, or at least announcing we're working on this. And then going into... And then tune in on February 27th for a special Pokemon Presents talking about what they're going to do for this year. Because there's not even been anything really announced for that yet either, what we're going to see this year. So... I'm going to put it in. I'm gonna lean into my right hand column, right below 3D Mario, right beside Mario Party, and say we see something from Game Freak. We cool with that?
Yeah.
Cool.
You talked me into it.
Yes, there we go. Okay. So that's on my wish list. I want to know more about this new special project that they have going on. And saying Game Freak is enough to say, hey, they're just announcing Pokemon Days February 27th, and we're going to do a Pokemon Presents. So it edges our bets a little bit.
They could give us Pocket Card Jockey or something. That was pretty good.
Yes, there's our remake remaster. Bring it on.
All right, so my next one, I'm going to go with something maybe a little more safer, and then we'll get back to the fun stuff. I'll say there'll be an update for Pikmin 4.
Interesting.
I think there's room there for some new, be it a new mode.
Have they ever done that for Pikmin though?
Yeah. For Pikmin 3, they added. I I'm trying to remember exactly how they did this, what was added later and what was in deluxe. I know they added some like missions and some versus stages, I think. I could see them adding something like that. So like with Pikmin 4, there's a lot of different, I don't know how much you've played it. But there's a lot of
Minimally.
different,
I've only
like,
really played Pikmin 1 and 2. And some
okay.
minimal stuff with 3.
Okay, 3's great, 4 is great. Anyway, I feel like there's room where they could add more to do, especially with the 2-player. I'd really love to see them go in and add another mode there. So like Pikmin 3 had like bingo mode and things like that, and this has like only the one mode. That sounds kind of generic the way I explained that, but no, I could see them adding a little more to that. I don't know exactly what that would look like, but I don't know. I think they're going to add something to it. It was successful enough, and 3 got an update back when it was out, even after it was out on the Switch for a little bit. I'm going to go with that. Some sort of Pikmin 4 update.
Pikmin 4 update. I put it up there beside of Switch 2. And I know I didn't ask, but that's kind of where I put it. It is in a row with Metroid Prime 4, but it is still in the column that you've built. So Pikmin 4 update, we have new remake, remaster, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mario Party, and new DK. So it is still in your column that you've built. So here's the thing. I want to pull some of these from chat real quick that I think are definitely possible. Okay. The first thing is Shadow Drop. I think a Shadow Drop is 100% going to happen. And that deserves to be in the center. Do you agree with that, Josh?
Yeah, of some sort. There almost always is something, even if it's an indie game.
Do you want to put it in the top, middle left, or bottom of the central area?
Put it in the bottom.
Okay. So, Shadow Drop. Happening. I agree with that. That is a good take. And then the other thing that they have here, that was in live chat, which by the way, Shadow Drop, that's coming from Mrs. Nerdwire. The other thing that was mentioned in here is Mother 3. And knowing that there have been interviews with Shigeru Miyamoto-san and Shigesato Itoi, and thinking about the fact that we are going to be seeing more stuff going on for the anniversary of Earthbound, I don't think that Mother 3 is that far-fetched of a possibility. I really don't. And I
Just
say
knowing how much I believe that back in the Wii U days, especially at one point where they were really talking about that series, it's hard for me to believe again.
I agree. But here's where I land on it. I don't feel like it's a guarantee. So I'm willing to put it right below Switch 2. And that is the meme choice anyway, right? So like,
I would put it there because it's always a guess. Everybody always thinks it's gonna happen. It's hard for me to believe that one's ever coming.
Just the amount of like media representation that it's been getting, especially lately, with the anniversary and the announcement that they are doing more things this year with it, that's kind of like reinvigorated me, because before we hadn't had anything on it, you know? This is the first time they've like acknowledged its existence in years. So that's kind of where I land on it. I agree with chat here, and that one's also from Mother 3. That one's also from Mrs. Nerdwire there. And then realistically, the other thing that I think is a guarantee is Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door coverage, and I think we get a date. But I think we see more for Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door remake, and that's a guarantee on that one. I feel confident about that one going in Central Ring. You're so quiet.
Sorry, I was reading the comments.
Oh no, you're good.
Your wife says she is Mother 3.
She is Mother 3. Paper Mario TTYD. I'm putting that right beside Princess Peach Showtime and new remake remaster. New remake, remaster, like right in between that area. And that's I'm pretty confident on that one. What's your next one, sir?
All right, my next one. Again, this is kind of like somewhere in between. This is possible, but then it's probably a wish list thing. I'm going to go with N64 NSO because I don't think we know of anything coming up for that now. I could leave it at that. Should we leave it at that to be safe? Because I really want to say Donkey Kong 64. Like if I was really going with the dream, it would be Diddy Kong Racing. But
I think
they
that
really
is pretty much a guarantee. I would agree with you that I think N64 NSO stuff is going to happen. I pretty much agree with that almost wholeheartedly. You know, I think as far as that goes, like it would be really, really cool to get like a direct announcement. Yeah. But I'm not necessarily the most confident that we will get that. Oh shoot, I've made mistakes. I'm not that confident that we'll get that. But I am pretty confident that we will get that. So I would agree with you. Let me go to selected here. It goes well, Nolan. We are making our bingo card for the community and with the community. And as you can see, we are nearing the completion of this bingo card as we speak. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more options on here. Nolan, you give me your hottest take. What do you believe will happen? It will get added to the list immediately. But I think N64 NSO is kind of a given. Have you seen, by the way, that Nintendo filed new trademarks for GameCube controllers?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh my God, Star Fox Command 2.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I made a mistake. I said it would get out.
There's no bad Star Fox game, in my opinion. But Command came close.
Man. So the real question is where do we want to put that? Because because we've got the corners, 3 corners, a top, middle, and then 2 that are kind of like down in this spot. I mean, you know what? Let's totally screw up the column that Cody built. The column that Cody built. And we can put, because I am the one who stepped into it, Star Fox Command 2.
We can just leave it at Star Fox at this point, and they have completely ignored that series for years too, which makes me really sad.
Oh, I can't leave it at Star Fox, but I'm with you. That would be skirting it too much. I stepped into that one. Like I asked for it. So
it's actually not that bad. It's just I didn't like having to play with the touchscreen.
Shame. All right, so we've got corners. Do we want to fill out these corners, Josh? What's your next big one?
All right, let me jump back here. One of the other, I guess, safe ones would just be a Tears of the Kingdom update. So I already, from the interviews they talked about, no, I don't really think we're getting a big DLC. They pretty much confirmed that, but I still think they're going to do something, be it just along the lines of like a master mode or something similar to that. So nothing major, but I do think they're going to at least revisit it in some form, give you a little something extra to go at.
Okay, so I'm going to put in Legend of Zelda TOTK. Even if it's just a sales update. I mean, heck, if they end up announcing the Switch 2 and a 3D Mario, they're going to tell us, by the way, launch day Tears of the Kingdom will be on this. So, I think it's a high possibility. I put it in the diagonal with Switch 2, new remake or remaster, free, Splatoon 3 side order, and then bottom left, Legend of Zelda TOTK. I think we can both agree with that one. So we have 3 spots left over. Okay, we have 3 spots left over. I am going to throw out.
Go ahead.
I am about to get wild with it. And here's what I'm putting on here. We all know that it would go to an indie direct. And we've got to put the meme on here, and we've got to keep it alive. We're gonna keep it alive. Silk Song. If I can even spell the dang thing. Hollow Knight, Silk Song. It's never coming. We all know that's never coming. But we got to keep the dream alive. And we gotta keep the
Mother
fanboys
3
going.
and Silk Song on here.
Oh yeah, I do. We've got Mother 3 and Silk Song. We absolutely do.
I've got my own, and you can go back to that in a second. Before I forget to mention this, though, because your wife's mentioned it, and it is basically the other guarantee next to JRPGs is a farming simulator.
So I would agree with that. Oh, we have 4 spots, actually. So a farm sim, where do you want that? Do you want that below Mario Sports? Do you want it in a corner?
Put it in a corner. Put it in, where are we?
We have one corner left.
The top left. Yeah, well, obviously, I guess. There you have the top left.
We had one corner left. Silk Song's actually happening. Mother 3 is too much of a constant extended bummer for them to ever consider re-releasing it. The only reason I lean toward it, Nolan, by the way, and you're in a little bit late, but the only reason that I'm considering it is because of all the announcements surrounding the anniversary of it this year, and the fact that there have been interviews held with Miyamoto and with Histowii, and just so many things out there. It lends some credence that it's being acknowledged, at least for the first time in 25, 35 years, whatever it is. All right. Emperor Gone Best, the Superman 64 gets announced for the N64 Switch Online. That'd be hilarious. The worst game ever.
That wouldn't surprise me. They would do that before Diddy Kong Racing. I know they did.
Sad day. All right, so we got Farm Sim in here. We have 2 spaces left here, actually, because I miscounted. We have 2 spaces left. What do we expect?
I know what I want to say, but I'm going to completely just ruin this spot.
Hit me with it. What is it?
I don't want to get too specific because then I'll really just kill it. But I'm going to say Kid Icarus because that should be back by now. Uprising was fantastic.
Sakurai is still working on games. We could put it up here in top middle.
We should have Uprising HD at least or something.
I would absolutely agree with that. The only reason, by the way, in the live chat, Emperor Gombessa, the only reason I lean away from amiibos, the only reason is because they've pretty much killed off that business. They didn't do hardly anything for Tears of the Kingdom, and they went all out for Breath of the Wild. They're doing re-releases, which is awesome, but I don't see them doing anything new. As much as I want them to. If we could have gotten something for Super Mario RPG, I think those would have sold the best. If you'd have been able to get Geno, Mallow, Mario, Bowser, and Peach in that style, it would have been sick. Yeah. It would have been really, really cool amiibos. And maybe they give you like an exclusive armor that you could only get through.
I think Nolan was saying the same thing. Pikmin 4 never got anything. We could have gotten Ochi. We could have got, I don't know if you can see it in my camera right now. We could have gotten something like that.
Yep. So I don't think amiibos are happening anymore, and I'm not comfortable enough putting it on here in the last slot that we have available on the pop here. They did mention earlier Diddy Kong Racing gets remade for the Switch, but it's the DS version. Womp womp. That'd be hilarious. We've got 1 spot left. What do you want to do here, Josh? It is in Farm Sim, Crash Team Rumble, Mario Sports, and Legend of Zelda TOTK column. Do we want to do, because they haven't done it in a while, do we want to do the one more thing?
I mean, does that count? Can we do that?
I mean, it is kind of the meme of the show.
If it can count as an entry.
Okay.
Sure.
One last thing. We'll call it, we'll just quote one last thing, ... And that. There we go. One last thing. And that's where we're at. it's always kind of like that one last thing at the end of the credits, though. Like when you think the show is over and they come back, and that's where I'm at with it. Is it will be that, like, it'll be one last thing, and that's the end of the thing. So, all right, that's our board.
One last thing, Retro's been working on Banjo-Kazooie this whole time. That's why Prime 4.
Not actually Metroid Prime. That'd be so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, that's our board, guys. I will share it out on social media for everybody, in the Facebook group, over in the Discord as well, and on Twitter, Threads, all the jazz. That is the board. I think we do have a good chance of getting one diagonal, getting one column and one row, but it will be just those one. Everything else we won't.
We're a very splotchy board.
Yeah, it's a rough board this time because it's just so uncertain. Like, Nintendo's future is so uncertain right now of what we are actually going to see. Do we see a Nintendo Switch? Do we see a Nintendo Switch 2, rather? Do we see anything from the Mario house? Do we see any indication that there are more first-party games on the horizon, or is it all third-party? Who knows? But that being said, we've got a lot to look forward to. Now, what I want to do is go to some extra Nintendo news. So continue on, my good sir. What do we got rolling up in the extra Nintendo news category?
All right, so we have Hi-Fi Rush data mine adds fire to the smoke of a switchboard. So, yeah, this one's been, what is it, just an Xbox exclusive for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Bless me. And so yeah, I think you said they had done a data mine of it, and it looks like it's pointing towards a switchboard is pretty likely, which I can believe that right now at the current state of Microsoft.
Absolutely. I think it is really, really interesting. Like this data mine are t-shirt texture files that are in the game, right? So there are 3 of them, and they all are kind of themed around PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox, of course. The PlayStation one's blue, says "I'm here, baby." The Nintendo Switch one, the thing that sticks out in my mind is the fact that the rock-on horns look like a Nintendo Switch. So, like, it is kind of crazy, like, how much that square hand looks like a Nintendo Switch. But on top of that, the tagline, "Rock out anywhere." I mean, you can't do that super easily with Xbox unless you're playing on the cloud gaming on your phone with a backbone. But, hey, what have you. And then the third one is Shadow Dropped, which I do really, really like that shirt idea. But I think it's interesting. And Tom Warren, who is over The Verge, I can confirm that Hi-Fi Rush data mine is legit, and these t-shirt texture files are in the game. It looks like Hi-Fi Rush is coming to PS5 and Nintendo Switch, is what his tweet says. So if there's any credence there, I'm excited to finally get to play that. I have an Xbox. I don't really play it all that often, so it's cool that I'll get this chance on my Switch. So,
good. Never a bad thing. So the next one, if we shall, Jim Carrey is confirmed to return for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 because we were kind of unsure about that. He had mentioned wanting to retire, and I forget exactly what he said, but basically wasn't going to come back unless the script just look like gold for whatever they wanted him for. But thankfully, I'm glad he changed his mind on that because I think he's done a good job with this. He kind of went from I was very unsure about them. I like Jim Carrey, but it's like he is an Eggman. But after 2 movies, I'm cool with it. I'm glad to have him back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is interesting because, I mean, he did have, and one of the things they talk about here is like the second film in the series, which, spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched it, but I apologize. It's been on the screen if you've been reading it. Second film in the series ended with Dr. Robotnik falling from a giant robot to the ground below a potentially fatal tumble. So, like, it was unclear and uncertain what his standing would be as far as, is he alive? Is he dead? But even with the reality of Carrey talking about not wanting to return to film anymore and possibly retiring, I think it's a good chance that we are going to see a little bit more out of him. So I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely happy about that. I'm excited for that movie too. But whole other conversation. It's getting late. I'll move on. Yeah, and This one I'm pretty happy about as well. So Super Mario RPG Remake crushed the lifetime sales of the original. So the original, I believe we said it was about 2.14 million
Mm-hmm.
sales for its lifetime, and this one's already up to 3.14 million units. So I think that's pretty solid for a game like that. Um, yeah.
Absolutely. Like, it is kind of crazy to think about. I mean, this is just first quarter sales for Super Mario RPG. So the first quarter of its lifespan is 1 million more than the original's release in the entire time that it's existed. But there's a couple of reasons that actually happens. I mean, obviously digital games media existing, the install base of the Nintendo Switch in and of itself. I mean, there's some extenuating factors there that kind of guide that into being the way that it is. So, I mean, I'm really happy for that, and I hope it bolsters something to say, hey, we want more of this. It was a really good game, and I want to see more in that world.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'd love that. Um, Now the next one is sort of related. Switch becomes the third best-selling console of all time, which is a pretty big deal. It is less than 16 million units from the number one spot. It is beaten only by the PS2 and Nintendo's own DS. For the PS2, honestly, I kind of hate, not to throw shade towards Sony. I know I'm not like a big Sony guy, but like I kind of feel like it's up there almost mostly because of the DVD player is the reason it's number one.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of my thought on it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's really impressive. That's very, very good. And I don't. That's one reason I don't see them really going away from what the Switch is for the next console, or
Absolutely.
trying something completely, out the. I think it would almost be a poor decision to try something crazy after that, since this has worked so well.
I would agree with you. All of those financial announcements and everything are directly on their corporate information page for Nintendo, so you can go and review all of those earnings results. I didn't want to pull them up because there's just a bunch of like numbers jargon, but to add some real numbers to that, Nintendo has sold 138 million units, a little over that, and 155 million for PS2 is where that's at. And then to top that off, it has been the third best selling console of all time for a year now. But it has made massive strides, and I think they expect it to possibly finish in first, but definitely in second because of the sales units. I mean, it's still doing 10,000 units a week. So as long as they keep pushing that out, I mean, that number will continue to grow. So it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, really, really, really nice to see a good success like this after the Wii U days. I always liked the Wii U, but man, the Switch just crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so on to the upcoming games, which there's not much this week, of course, but what we have listed for today, our single edition here is Dungeonoid 2 Awakening. It is $8.99 on February the 7th, and he's pulling some of it up now.
Sorry, my apologies. I'm lagging behind here. Gameplay looks really, really cool for this one. It was like the only game that like really stuck out to me as far as like something that I felt like needed to be talked about. It's like a mix between Legend of Zelda meets Arkanoid or Breakout or what have you as far as those brick breaking games go. It's dungeon crawling. And you've got characters that have special abilities, and you gain power-ups as you go along with it, and you do the dungeon crawling. It's super cute. And I actually really like the way this one looks. It's out on the 7th for $8.99. So go check that out. I will probably be checking this one out. I mean, it's cheap enough, and it's right up my alley as far as those games. I'm hoping it's not a disappointment like In Golf was, because I bought that, and I was like, oh, no, This is bad.
This looks interesting, a cool new concept, and it's fairly cheap. So, yeah, maybe go check that out.
Awesome. All right, guys, that does bring us to the last segment of the show, and that is our Histowii. So, without any further ado, we're gonna get into this last segment. I'm gonna ask if you guys at home are watching, please put in your comments, put in your chats. Let us know what you think this game is. All right, guys. So, welcome to the part of the show we call Histowii. Finally, a real name. In this segment, my co-host Josh must guess a game that was released within the past week, but years ago, based on a trivia, a screenshot, and a random sound clip or theme song from the game. Josh, as my resident nostalgia nerd, do you feel like you have what it takes to be able to guess this game?
Oh yeah. I think I've proved myself so far.
Let's go, baby. All right. So, audience, again, I'll ask if you're watching at home, please put your answers into the comments. And if you're watching us live, put it into the live chat. Clue number 1 is getting on the board, and it is your trivia clue. This game, released February 6th, 2005, is one of 2 Game Boy Advance games with a certain special feature.
All right. Okay. No idea so far.
Okay. So, your second clue, and I'm going to send it to you in our Discord message here.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm sending it to you in our Discord message. You should have gotten it. And now the audience at home is able to see it. This is clue number 2. This is your screenshot.
Screenshot threw me off.
I feel like I've been devious this week. And I
will say, I have 2. No, that doesn't make sense. There's basically 2 games that I was thinking of when you said 2 Game Boy Advance games that have this feature. But I think there's more than that. I was thinking of the Yoshi Tilt and Tumble or whatever it's called here, and WarioWare. The one that has the the motion controls for Game Boy Advance. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm wrong. Especially looking at this picture, I have no idea what this is.
I'm feeling very good all of a sudden because like I have tried to stump you for weeks, and I was like, surely I will find it. But yes, so we're gonna go into the third and final clue. Okay, we're gonna go into the third and final clue. Let me get this pulled over here for you. I'm gonna send it to you here, and then I am going to pull down our audio on the show here and play the sound clip for everybody. This song is a bop, by the way. It's very good. Everybody get your dance emotes out if you're watching live. Okay. I'm gonna pull down the sound clue now. Yes, there we go. I'm seeing those good dance emotes. I'm pulling down the sound clue to mute it because it is on just a loop. So, all right. So, do you have any guesses at all, my good sir?
I have a guess, but I'm pretty certain this is wrong because I think this came out before 2005.
Okay.
And I have no idea what the feature is. I'm going strictly off the screenshot. Don't recognize the theme song to it, so it's not something I've played, I don't believe.
Okay.
And I'm not going to spend too much time because I have no clue what else to guess. It's not Yoshi because that game's got more of a different, like 3D almost aesthetic to it. I don't think it's the Wario and I was thinking of. I'm going to go with Drill Dozer.
All right, we are going to go ahead and go to that game reveal right now. I have tried so hard to stump you, and I cannot win to save my life. Congratulations, begrudgingly.
I don't know why I knew what that was, like by looking off the screenshot.
Oh,
I don't know what the
man.
feature.
Oh man.
Screenshot. You know, like, the music sounds like it would be like a drilling game. Whoever said that.
So the only trailer I could find with this, beyond the E3 announcement trailer for Drill Dozer, was the Japanese trailer, which is like Power Screw or something like that. Is what they call it. Hang on. Screw Breaker.
Explain to you why that made me think of it.
Man, so that specific thing here. So this game released February 6th, 2005, is one of 2 GBA games with a certain special feature. Do you have any idea what that special feature is that I was referencing?
It's not motion.
It is not motion.
I really don't know.
It is a rumble feature that doesn't require an external rumble pack. It is one of the only 2 games that does not require an external rumble pack or a GBA player on the GameCube. Also of note, do you know what the other game is that had this special feature?
The only one I can think of is Perfect Dark on the Game Boy Color. So that's not it. I don't know on the Game Boy Advance.
You've actually already mentioned it once, and it was actually a combo of the motion controls, but it was WarioWare Twisted. The pack inside of that also had the rumble feature built into it. So that being said, congratulations, up to 5 Josh points. I can't believe you freaking got it again. I was so confident going into that one. I was like,
was the first one. Yeah.
I've got him. I do have a real quick announcement to make. Next week on the 13th, provided there's not like a random Nintendo Direct that we just spent this entire episode on that actually happens by the 13th. But next week on the 13th, we are doing a special all Histowii episode. For you guys at home, we're going to be having some special guests on. Josh is going to have some actual competition. There's going to be a buzzer system for people to buzz in if they have a guess immediately to try to get points up on the board. Winner, I haven't decided what the prize will be. I'll have an announcement on the prize. But those people who are joining us are going to be Calamity Nolan in our live chat here right now.
Yep.
We're also going to have Super Nintendo Dad from Super Nintendo Dad, who's going to be joining us. And we're going to be having a familiar face, if you guys are familiar at all with Josh Taylor and one of his previous shows, which was Nintendo Nostalgia. A co-host of his from that previous show, Ryan Black, will be joining us as well as a 4th contestant. So it's going to be really, really cool. I'm excited to see if Josh maintains his champion level, because now not only does he have to be good, he also has to be fast. So
we'll see about that, especially at this time of night. I'm a little worried about Ryan in particular. I'm not sure about everybody else just yet.
Man, I'm excited. To see you guys get on here and duke it out. I'll be hosting, of course. I got to run all the buttons as we go. I'd love to be able to participate. Maybe someday I can get Mrs. Nerd to do this for me. Who knows? And I'll be able to participate, and she can just put in the stuff for Josh. So that being said, we're gonna go back up. We're gonna wrap up the rest of this show. Josh, do you want to take it away, my good sir?
Yeah. Thank you again for joining us tonight. That wrapped everything up. Cody, actually, where can they find you right now?
You find me on Twitter, on the Threads. Threads is mostly where I spend most of my social media time. That and Twitch, pretty much all your social pages at Nerdwire Plays. And what about you, Josh?
So with me, of course, it is Whopper744 in most places. Twitter, it is at Whopper744 Games. I'm also on Threads, on Instagram, all that good stuff. Mostly on Twitter, I would say. Yeah. So along with all that, you can catch all of our episodes in audio form on Apple Podcast eventually.
Who knows? Sorry.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Cody puts a lot of work into this stuff, so we'll get there. And videos on YouTube at youtube.com/@the Nintendo Rewind right now. There are, I think all of our past episodes are up on there. Join our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Nintendo Rewind. I really appreciate everybody jumping in there and just kind of posting about whatever. I mean, keep it related and family friendly, but you know what I mean. Get in there and get active. Visit our social media page also on Threads at Nintendo Rewind. And we also are on Twitter as well. So thank you all again for watching. Remember, you can catch us here live every week, Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/, Nintendo. Sorry about that.
It's late. I forgive you.
Wrong name. It is late here.
I forgive you.
Whatever the show is called.
But you'll be able to figure it out by the end of the episode. You'll know what you've been watching. One last thing before we do go. Also, go check out the merch. There is new merch that is available at store.streamelements.com/Nintendo Rewind. Get yourself a mug, a hat, a t-shirt, a really, really cool sweatshirt. That being said, if you're watching us live, stick around for the post-show chat. We've got some special stuff to tease also beyond that. And we'll catch you guys in next week's episode for the Histowii Trivia Night. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye.